In Mi'kmaq, it was called Samson, or tuberculosis TB. TB devastated our Mi'kmaq communities. In the early 1900s, the TB epidemic occurred in Canada, and Native communities were greatly affected because of malnutrition and overcrowded conditions. TB spread rapidly and death rates were in the thousands. It is a part of our history that many of our survivors would rather forget.
Sa was me deadem in TB. But wajigwe TB o tiju, but I wouldn't. Me deadem ma clamux we go Alex no governor. I have been in the gate to Jake too. All time I meet to walk it. I'll take away out. Wake over, Miss Nanny book a girl, I got a big stick to won't temple tea. One tell me now, Bessa go it, na, St. Dorsum, I like it in a one. Bummer weed medium, never more. Miss Orange, you simple Glamoxidani, Nankija, so it's possible Armadi. Creel and Jimmy did a mail me dip. Kislamado dip. I'm supposed to maybe did, ma. When nep TB with more, Maggie Talas no, Odan. Miss Onigeru, Maonad in Midua 50s. Majuno, Botti Sedimidis, Tantelamo, Sinuan, TB. Naduji get you, Besagadim. Aha, Kissing Piladen when. Aha, much per hospital Pisquad when TB annex with me, Pisquad, and Spagin pisted. Garmo Majuno, Meg Diagidig of Cardini Migudum, Elali, when annexed. Which was it? Hanspan quarters of Ginadami. Kijani, Yanko Wabni, which was it? Tamada would move dear. Beg it had when annexed again. Suicide came not 2 years. Now, Basin came when we judged it, and what it happened. Moving to go out, but I go neck cake, I'm a car multi work. I wonder as yes, low and Mumegi wa mad nigger when kissing book LTB which we go. Maybe did him Ninkija, suicide, one mad gauge. Passaga Creel and Emily, one mad gauge. Kadu not a middle, maybe 10 or 8 years after. Tiju Aika, there was in him and our Madu when she won on his TV age. Now, his simple. Fumigate our radic. Can maybe did mean fumigate our radic, milking not a high medium. How much power not a week? Which Margaret to noon can walk for a couple of nights. This made me not have immediate. People ain't come in, I don't want to what I ate a DDT, they'll meet him. My was it. Got neighbor wouldn't get a germs ago.
Mugide them anyway, and a man is hospital. We do up the ladige, Miso after find out to is Tantel do Gudix, work coming on no G's came over this hospital, not there. Can not try up Nina. But Mugide the mais Edison born to rail litigaban Tubunka, side to. I'm with one araso. Was guys railing it to it. I mean, was some gizago. I could be 4 on me, 3 or 4 every day. And after a guy, Pochi Mugide the mais, then the next one the hospital. Tell Mugide the mais, Charles Street, right hand side, ending to High Sigan. The guys. Smag is still grammars were he moody doing. Edegum Nedel mean the hospital, a marine hospital. There was a hospital after an answer fine at no toy when I'm waggy do a little bit. Wait, Hadmuk to do. Anyway, got a movie there the more, but a mock had a moody. Lugis, no hospital. Got a movie there until the way. Mugidi after gnu which not chevitki or grandparent until the way Bernigesim, Nanutway, Bernigesim, Namuspa, until Silmaya, LED business TB, you know.
Now I'm sitting in TB, chestum, pasea, which yakadon. Lungs, infected and they're so badly infected. It's worse than lung infection. Yeah. Lungs or something. I don't know.
Because you have to wear the Miss the mode of TV, not why TV time.
Oh, we did, Mom. Was mucked him up, Mom, Sahadik. I'll tell you, mucked him up, Sahadik. Well, does he up? Carmelli go at the up, Sitamia, aim up, Jiminguasi up, patience, cigar. Mrs. Matthews saw, and then my daughter, I TB area. And there's a Sahadi but guess she do a Sunday and there's a class Sahadi Aluxim. And I mean, Mrs. Matthews so Bahamka, had Ligasi Nadia. Na beg Jake, Mrs. Matthews convinced Wally to say that Lee page. Abijasi gate on crib gate on.
We go to Edmund and Elixon water. Because now I am believing the log soon.
Mrs. Mudin, but was up to walk through see up. Right off of my parents' arms. That was it. I'm not Cherokee.
That was your
Tree.
That was yours. Okay. So Dolly the Edmund, don't tell effect the wall, I tuberculosis, I family. Like, anyway, got it.
Excuse me, what? Anyway, again, no quiet any. Monest mo up on the way to. You all look see at the hospital. I'm not doing any more to me. Mistake of separation. I say, Rami, Uncle shaped it. Did you bust nest him up? Only took to walk which you could say, Rami, Eskasoni with no easy.
So, Gil Pasti be a reason.
And Lejo.
And Lejo Market, because I
and why more about same time, way more. But wow. Dan there's swallow chicken on my anchor for wallow.
Yeah.
Anchor for wallow, already down. TB every day. Bye. TB every day, not do you win now? But when this was yes, when Kissy Jassy Baham, Eastman on 5 of Tipney. The one gish kaji is good now, till all of now, can't go for our lay down, chicken a malado. Tidney was up till you toxi up, Maureen, kiss there, them with kiss glow and a go up as a little piece of soft that the nurse sake, don't so up Charlie Dalla, to gas you up Charloxiania, and medium in the hospital, and we go to move by Nestimo go away. All in the way she up Nella, and you are bossy at last we should take up plenty away, up and Abasia, Padlasi to up. Plenty away, apply in the Mayenne now. Didn't moxiam, Padlasi wishing, get on with no way so there. Well, what the take a lot, Padlasi wishing bed. That's what I remember. I had to speak English. We did Mom crib meski did the bars let it go pasik the bars pasik domestic dopity the train be me up na pointed work the train every day be me every day this mother we are standing getting ni I'm happy check no de we ni na Sahadi Auxi the train be me I don't na you na de box chi do na get on na then dip too nigh crib because you dip too nigh on me treat it we check it on na ni nelusin na Kribittu miso aduna 60 ujiane mu mureed mu abani tu lisin. Mureed was grip. Dan ni masanganut kana uleji da Chidai Frenema Vevoma back in 1930s na TV was now later I go waddle na when Malia Maka when the did me the general rage Maldewa na nega Malia Mat that called was your lady Tunquais Wadua did you Malia Madel del Malia Malculi Mijuaji only gayagab na mo age mo we go bunji go well take so mo go ba we gayagab ta ha shanty there was this year 4 days year ka shanty na we gayagab ba padan tujo to apna no chewi ole age ga ala dibni ga time ala di na look see ga time una tujo ni ma children say they yeah Awleech wajen vidabni ga chini mobi makulotiti Eskasoni chini mobi meskilotiti ba bidoksoltiti ga meskilotiti ai tmalajo onijika akisu wisko susano onja dabusiski boysi onja kenfel limpagi adujuna meduega.
My family first moved here to Eskasoni in 1949. And what I was saying, my mother, I remember my mother telling us that the people that lived in the house before us, there was an old man and an older woman, and they had tuberculosis. The house we moved into was condemned for 17 years before, but that was the house that we got. And I know my aunt had tuberculosis, my mother's sister, and she was in a sanatorium. I think it might have been Kentville, I'm not sure. But it was at that time that when that happened, her 3 oldest girls ended up in the Shubenacadie Indian Residential School. And I was pretty young, I think, but my brother also had tuberculosis. And he was here at the Point Edward Hospital. But we never went to visit him. I don't know if my mother went. They must have went to visit him. I don't know. I don't remember. I must have been around 7 or 8. But today I know that it's coming back, and I'm not sure exactly why. Maybe it's overcrowding. Because sometimes when I think of it, I says, I don't know if it's the mold, I don't know if it's the close contact we're in, overcrowding, the old houses where people had tuberculosis. And if so, how long do these houses have it? And I also lived in Guysborough, and I remember there, that was way back, I think it must have been about 5 or 6, that the animals caught tuberculosis. And they had cows and pigs, sheep, chickens. They had to kill and burn everything out there. So I says, if they had to do that to animals, these houses that we lived in still stood.
I started school when I was 7. But because of my looks, I guess, the teachers decided that I must go home because I have TB. And when I got home, I said, I'm not going to go to school for a while. They say I have TB. But my grandparents never took me to the doctor. What they did in my recovery, I was often in bed, and I drank goat's milk twice a day. And that was no picnic. My God, to this day, I can't drink canned milk. I can't touch anything that will remind me of goat's milk, the color, dark yellowish, orangey color. Oh, God. And the smell, of course, is beyond words. Well, I drank that for about 6 months, I guess, until my hair got shiny, I guess, and I put on some weight. Then they declared that I am no longer germy. And it was years later, in my late 50s or maybe early 60s, that I had a cough. And so I went to, we all went to chest x-rays, my family and their family. And after having x-ray done, they called me back. Dr. Akers called me back. And he's the lung specialist or some respiratory guy. And his first question was, Mrs. Marshall, when did you have TB? I never had TB. I wouldn't listen to those teachers when they told me I had TB. I never went to hospital. I never took any medication. It was the hand of the Indian agents that ruled your life. If you have TB, you have TB, and you go home and take care of it, or you die, or whatever. He said, no. The x-ray shows you have an old scar. You did have TB. And I kept, no, I didn't have TB. And he argued with me, yes, you didn't. It was a fruitless conversation, but anyway. Me in denial and him positive, but anyway. I finally accepted the fact that I had TB one time.
Was your mother diagnosed with TB?
She was not only diagnosed of TB, but she spent 5 years. No, she spent about 43, 44, 45, 46. She came 47. 5 years in sanatorium. And in that time, I never saw